The world is a vampire.
The world is a vampire sent to drain.
Yes, you know the song.
Secret destroyers hold you up to the flame.
There's a lyric in that song that haunted my younger years. The world is a vampire sent to drain, and so on. It felt angsty back then, cool, loud, and raw, but now it sort of feels like prophecy, because somewhere between the fluorescent lights of your workplace and the scroll hole of your phone, something is draining you. Your time, your energy, your attention. And most of it, we just accept it, like rats in a cage. We all feel it. Something's off. Work is harder, rest is rarer, and meaning is optional. But what if a 90s alt-rock anthem saw this coming? What if that rage wasn't teenage rebellion, but a diagnosis of the modern condition that still applies today? In this episode, we're going to unpack that lyric, take a look at what it really means to be drained, and explore how to fight back without just raging in the dark. Welcome back to Thinking and Being. If you like what you see today, please go ahead and like and subscribe, as this will enable you to see more content from myself and others just like this. And if you're unsure, just go ahead and hit all the buttons, see what happens, and I don't think you'll regret it. I just use a little bit of the song, just a little bit. If I do get a strike, someone please just send this video to Billy Corrigan so I can clear my name and clear this strike off of my channel. Fair use. So why this particular topic? In the 90s, I was a big Smashing Pumpkins fan. In fact, in my high school yearbook, part of my caption for my senior photo is, "The world is a vampire." I didn't fully get it then, to be honest, but I felt it. Now, decades later, I hear the same lyric and see a system that feeds on our time, our attention, and even our health. This video isn't just about a song, it's about the way that line still resonates in 2025. Maybe even more than it did in 1995. This is also about what we can do to stop getting drained. So let's first walk through the lyrics and explore what they really say. The world is a vampire sent to drain. This isn't just angst, it's an indictment. The lyric implies that society itself is engineered to extract your energy, your time, and your joy. And it's not subtle. Every ad, algorithm, and obligation pulls a little more from your reserves. It's the perfect metaphor for systemic burnout. 30 years before burnout became a workplace buzzword. Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. This is the one part of the song people probably know best. This line hits like a punch to the gut. Rage should be rebellion, but here it's powerless rebellion. Contained, observed, and tolerated like lab-tested disobedience. It's the simulation of resistance, where systems make space for your screaming as long as you stay in the maze. It's very Zizekian, who is a philosopher, really, in that your rebellion becomes part of the product. Then someone will say, what is lost can never be saved. This next part of the line, now we're in existential territory. This line screams Albert Camus's concept of the absurd, the tension between our search for meaning and the silence of the universe. In Camus's view, you will either crumble or you rebel by creating meaning anyway. The lyric leans towards surrender, but by noticing it, we get to choose otherwise. Now I'm naked, nothing but an animal. Here we see the stripping away of the self. Identity reduced to instinct. In modern terms, it's the grind stripping you down to survival mode. It's Maslow's hierarchy in reverse. No space for creativity, love, or purpose. Just clocking in and shutting down. This is dehumanization by design, a system that shrinks the soul. And then there's the butterfly wings paradox. Let's talk about the title of the song, Bullet with Butterfly Wings. A beautiful creature with a violent payload. It's a paradox and maybe a metaphor for powerlessness wrapped in potential. We all start with wings, but the world hands us ammunition and then teaches us to aim at ourselves. God, I'm itchy. My eyes itch. And I still believe that I cannot be saved. So this part of the lyrics, this is what systems thinking would call a reinforcing loop of despair. You're drained, so you disengage. You disengage, so you become easier to drain. Slavoj Žižek, a modern philosopher and cultural critic, has argued that late capitalism absorbs even rebellion, turning protest into performance. This lyric reflects that. Despair isn't just emotional, it's commodified. And the vampire's greatest trick? Convincing you that escape is naive. Even though I know, I suppose I'll show all my cool and cold like old Job. Biblical Job, tested by God, stripped of everything, yet still faithful. Here, Corgan flips it. He's not faithful. He's performative, cool and cold. It's emotional numbing as survival. Today, we see this in Gen Z's ironic detachment, the LOL I'm dying meme culture. It's not apathy, it's armor. And last, this was never just a song. This track wasn't just a cry from the 90s. It was a blueprint, a poetic breakdown of how culture consumes consciousness. And now, 3 decades later, it lands harder than ever because the vampire evolved and it looks a lot like the screen in your pocket. And one of the things I do in my videos is promote others' products. Here, I'm just going to promote Billy Corgan and the Smashing Pumpkins.
Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins.
Homer Simpson, smiling politely.
On Spotify. If you're someone who's new to the song or just needs a refresher, needs to hear the whole thing, I'll put a link to the song in the description of this video below. I also like Spotify a lot because it has an algorithm that's pretty good at finding new songs that I'm gonna like based on the stuff that I have in my current lists. So I would check that out. I think it's overall a good product and worth the price for ad-free listening. Next, let's talk about the ways that the world vamps you. I don't think that's a verb, but the ways in which the world sucks your blood. The vampire system isn't a person, it's a pattern. You'll miss the vampire if you go looking for fangs. The system isn't built on evil villains, it runs on automation, distraction, and burnout. It rewards short-term thinking, thrives on your attention, and feeds on your exhaustion. And like any good vampire, it needs an invite. The scariest part? We give it one. Every time we settle for survival over vitality. You are trained to be tired. Remember when schools conditioned you to sit still, follow rules, and not question the point? That wasn't random. It was conditioning for adult compliance, for jobs that do the same thing. You're rewarded for obedience, not curiosity. Over time, that trains the most dangerous habit of all, confusing fatigue with fulfillment. Let's go over the vampire feedback loop. The more social pressure to comply, the greater the emphasis on productivity over purpose. Then the more productivity is emphasized, the more people experience burnout and disillusionment. The more disillusioned people are, the more they seek quick fixes, things like medication, dopamine, distractions. The more society normalizes these coping mechanisms, the more it profits off compliance and dysfunction. The more profit made from dysfunction, and the more that these systems double down on the conditions that created it. And that in turn increases original social pressure to comply, closing the loop and of course reinforcing itself. Again, this is the reinforcing loop of what I call the vampire economy, a system that feeds on your energy and gives just enough relief to keep you functional, but never truly free. Next, let's talk about Foucault and the soft cage of discipline. Michael Foucault, a 20th century French philosopher, described how power works subtly, not through chains, but through routines, surveillance, and internalized control. In modern life, the vampire wears a Fitbit and tracks your productivity. You obey not out of fear, but because you've been trained to manage yourself. And in that soft cage, you forget you ever had fangs of your own. Next, let's talk about Baudrillard and the fake reality that feeds on you. Jean Baudrillard, a postmodern theorist, said, "We no longer live in reality, we live in simulations of it." Social media is the perfect example, a curated echo chamber of filtered faces and outrage headlines. This hyper-reality drains you, not just emotionally, but existentially, because when nothing feels real, you stop believing you can change it. And the vampire loves that. Here's an example. Health is now a huge business model. Here's a dark truth. We've built a society that runs on everyone being slightly sick, or exhausted, or dependent. Pharmaceutical companies profit more from management than from cure. A New York Times article just came out saying that healthcare is our biggest industry across the United States. And it's not because we're healthy, it's because we're sick. Most wellness content sells aesthetics, not healing. And meanwhile, the average worker gets 10-minute breaks and 10 pills. The vampire doesn't want you dead, it wants you barely functioning. And that's profitable. And let's not forget this, the system needs you distracted. You are born into a society that sells focus but thrives on distraction. You're nudged to chase dopamine, scrolls, likes, inboxes, treats, because numb people don't revolt. The longer you stay distracted, the less you notice the systems around you. And eventually you internalize the idea that this is just how life is. But it's not. You were just never taught to see the fangs. So here's a question worth asking. What's your vampire? What system, expectation, job, app on your phone, or relationship seems to take more from you than it gives back? Is it draining your energy, your time, your creativity, maybe even your sense of self? Pause it and name it, out loud if you can. Or go ahead and just comment below on what it is. Because if you don't work on naming it, it keeps feeding off you invisibly. And also one of the things I do in my videos is do a shout out to another YouTube content creator. And today I would like to promote The Magnificent Others, of course, with Billy Corgan, who is the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. Real quick, I do this because other artists on YouTube do such a great job and they've inspired me to be doing what I'm doing, so I need to give them the credit they deserve. So you can see in the name of this channel that I'm promoting that this is all about appreciating the work and genius of other artists other than Billy Corgan himself, and he is the perfect interviewer and host of this entertaining and insightful channel. If you're like most people and into music and want to learn the ground truth behind your favorite artists and celebrities, this is the go-to channel. He has recent videos interviewing the likes of Rick Springfield, Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. Remember the Monkees? I do. And also Gavin Rossdale, who is lead singer of Bush. I'll leave a link to his channel below so you can check that out. Okay, back to this video. The third main idea I want to talk about is how to not get vampired. Number one, you don't have to burn to shine. The vampire wants you to think the only way that you matter is to be constantly consumed by your job, your feed, your goals. But what if brightness doesn't require burning out? Start with this. Protect your energy like it's capital. Audit your inputs, what you watch, who you listen to, how you spend your attention. Because in this economy, your energy is the currency, not your money. Kill the loop and not yourself. Earlier we showed a loop that drains you. Here's how to break them. Replace reactivity with reflection. Replace consumption with creation. Replace scroll time with solo time. You don't have to go off-grid, just change the input once and see what happens. In systems thinking, even one shift can destabilize the vampire's loop. Next, be weird on purpose. Conformity is the vampire's favorite spice. You want garlic? Try authenticity. Dress weird, say no to meetings, start a garden, ask big questions at a party. Because resisting the system isn't just about grand revolutions, it's about micro acts of agency that tell your brain, I still choose. Build a sacred you space. Create a space or time that is just for you, where algorithms can't reach you. It could be morning pages, solo walks, even 5 minutes staring at a candle. This isn't just self-care, it's boundary setting for your psyche. Because if you don't have a protected zone, the vampire will find a way in. And then ritual over routine. Routine is mechanical. Ritual is intentional. You brush your teeth every day. That's a routine. But you write your intentions before bed. That's a ritual. Rituals tell your nervous system, I am present, I have purpose. And vampires, they hate presence. They feed on autopilot. Next, turn why me into what's next. One of the vampire's tricks is despair. It wants you to feel doomed, stuck, or irrelevant. So flip it. When the system weighs you down, ask, what can I learn here? How can I even shift 1% today? This isn't toxic positivity, it's micro-agency, a self-respecting flicker of rebellion. That's how you win. And then, avoiding the vampire isn't a solo mission, it's collective. Find your weirdos. Send them this video. Make a pact to stay awake and stay human, because the world might be a vampire, but we don't have to be its dinner. And last, write the ending first. Here's a strange but powerful exercise. Write the last paragraph of your story. Not a will, not a resume, an actual closing scene. What do you want your life's final chapter to feel like? Who's there? What are you proud of? What did you build, solve, or heal? Now work backward. The vampire wants you to drift, to stay vague, but specificity is a shield, because when you know where the story's headed, you stop letting random pages write themselves. Thanks for watching today. My 3 key takeaways are: the system feeds on your attention. Guard it like blood. Next, write your own ending before someone else does. And then last, the vampire wins when you stop asking why. So, in what other ways is the world a vampire? What did I miss from the lyrics from that song? Comment below and tell us what you think. If you like what you saw today, please like and subscribe, as it will keep content like this coming your way. And it's my goal to make this content entertaining and funny, enlightening and educational, as well as a bit nostalgic. Stay tuned as we'll talk about topics ranging from consciousness to physics, philosophy to psychology, as well as the intersections in between that affect your thinking and being. Until then, keep thinking and being, and do not go gentle into that good night.